How to plan your finances while studying abroad. Now, this is a question I get asked pretty often. And for those of you that don't know, I studied at King's College London in 2018 as a JN Tata scholar. And I was there for the whole year and I had a wonderful experience, but I definitely have a lot of insights to share from my time there. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so how to budget for your time studying abroad, right? I specifically went right after undergrad, which means I had never worked anywhere. I didn't have any job related savings. I had a little bit from previous internships, but obviously nothing significant enough yet. And I was, I had won the JN Tata scholarship. So that really helped because I had a total cumulative amount of 18 lakh that really helped towards some of my tuition fee and also to manage the expenses that I had while living in London. But mainly I want to say that you will end up spending somewhere near 30 to 40 lakh. And this I'm saying in 2018 to 2020. Whenever you're watching this video, because of inflation, obviously the prices may have increased and things may be different. But in my time, this was the average, you're going to spend nearly 40 lakh was like a given. And this is because our tuition fee, the degree itself, is somewhere near 20 lakh because it was, it's about 20,000 pounds, which is nearly 20 lakh, if I'm doing the math correctly, but definitely 20 lakh. And I had to then be careful of my living expenses while in London because everything is super expensive. And the way I would do conversions in my mind is I would just multiply by 100 because that helped me get a fair range. Like something looks like £5, but it's actually nearly $500, right? In Indian rupees. So it helped me to be a little cautious and not get carried away every time I saw something. It's only £10, only £10. That's $1,000. If you do that multiple times, you'll end up spending a couple thousand just like that. So here's what I will say, right? What you should, number one, do is have an Excel sheet. As long as you have an Excel sheet, a lot of things can get taken care of and managed. So once you have your Excel sheet, you have to have your fixed costs, right? Where your fixed cost is your tuition fee. You can't avoid that. You are going there to study most likely, and you're going to have to pay that. So make sure that either you have savings, or your parents have saved, or you have scholarships that can help you fund that basic tuition fee. Here, I will tell you something about the power of manifestation also. Trust me, it works. If you decide in your mind, I am going, like no matter what happens, I'm going there, then something around you will start, we know that Om Shanti Om dialogue, right? That Shah Rukh Khan says that Puri Kainat, उसे आपको मिलाने की साजिश में लग जाती है, which basically means that the whole universe starts to almost conspire to make you and that thing come together. And this is true because at the time, my parents, they're working wonderful jobs, but it would definitely be a financial they would have to step up considerably if I had to go and spend that much money to study abroad for just 1 year. And my mom was, visibly concerned. She obviously wanted me to go, but she was having her moments of doubt. And my mom is the financial planner in my family, which is why my mom. So she was concerned and I said, no, we're going to make it happen. I don't know how, but I'm going to try everything, right? I didn't say, I don't know how, and then just sat there. I said, I don't know how, but I will find out. And I applied to every single scholarship in lakhs, JN Tata, which I eventually won, and the Narottam Sexaria scholarship. So I looked at a whole bunch of options and made an Excel sheet of that as well, so that I knew that, okay, whatever happens, I will be able to afford this and I will be able to go there. I had just decided from inside that this is happening for me. So I want you also to decide that it's going to happen, and then suddenly doors start opening where you never even thought they were possible. So that's one, right? Your fixed cost. So second thing you want to keep in mind is a lot of variable costs. So your accommodation is a variable cost, but it is necessary because if you're going to study, you're going to have to stay somewhere too. So think about, where am I going to be staying? How can I reduce the travel costs by making sure I stay close enough to this place, right? So wherever you might be, you want to be close enough to college that you can walk there. That makes life much easier. You don't have to take the tube every day. And honestly, you save a lot on travel and you also stay healthy and fit because you're walking every day. So 1 is your tuition fee. 2 is accommodation. 3, and honestly, it's a big one, is food. Because like if you're Indian or South Asian, we need good food. Ghar ka khana is mandatory. So try to make sure you either have, like I was staying in an accommodation which had a breakfast, lunch, and dinner facility. And it's amazing. It's called Good Enough College. If you haven't seen my video about the accommodation, please go watch that. It will change your life. Having said that, we had this amazing Hogwarts style hall where we would eat and dine and, wine and dine and do our thing. And it was so incredible. We got everything there. So I had to buy food coupons, like food packs. And I just, it was so wonderful because I could just cross the road and I knew that I'm going to get steaming hot, fresh food. And a lot of the chefs were Indian. So I was like, thank God. Like, this is perfect. So that is one. Make sure you know where you're going to be eating from. Some of my friends chose to get groceries and learn how to cook. If that's what you enjoy doing, please go ahead and do that. It's finally ultimately up to you what you think is best for your life. And that's another option. Some other people just decided they're going to choose one place and then just order from that place every time, which is fine, but it's still outside food and it's not sustainable in the long run. So you might want to consider healthier alternatives. I will say though, from all the cuisines, Mexican is pretty similar to Indian. And there was this place called Tortilla, which was very close to Good Enough College. And I would go to Tortilla like very, very often because it's basically just like wrap, rice, rajma, or a bunch of different vegetables, salsa, cheese, guacamole. It's really healthy and it's really good. And I found this place called Tortilla in London, which hashtag not an ad, but I love it. It's the best. Like I would just go there and just camp out there because it's just so healthy and so wholesome. And the tortilla near my house, they knew my order. They were like, oh yeah, she's here. We know exactly what she's going to have because she has the same thing every time. And it's very wholesome in the sense that it fills you up. So it's about 4 or 5 pounds, but it's enough for dinner because it's such a big burrito and so filled up that it's more than enough, honestly. So coming back to the topic, we were talking about fixed costs, which is like your tuition fee, your accommodation, your food. The next one is travel, right? So in London, how do you travel? You're going to usually use the tube or the bus. It's again, especially if you're in central London, the bus is really good. Every average person uses the bus. Like sometimes I understand in India, we may have a mindset that will I feel safe in the bus, especially as women, because we're thinking about what kind of people might be with us in the bus. But here in London, especially for all the girls out there, it's normal, especially in central London. The minute you start going to zone 2, like outside. So how London is concentric circles is divided in. The middle one, which is main London, is zone 1. You come out, it's zone 2. You come out more, zone 3, zone 4. The airport is like near zone 5, zone 4 or 5. So it's like far away from the center. But so when you start going to zone 2, it might change. I have gone to zone 2 sometimes in a bus and I have felt a little unsafe. Being very honest and candid, not trying to obviously be, say anything illogical, but I've just felt unsafe. And so zone 1, it feels safe. The bus feels fine. You have something called an Oyster card, which is like your travel card in London. So we all use it for the tube as well as the bus. It's like a public transport card and you top it up every time. So I would, keep topping it up from my bank account and then I would basically go and use that. And it was supremely helpful. So that's the Oyster card. And the bus is cheaper than the tube. That time it was like 1 or 2 pounds, 1.5, something like that. So it's like really convenient to use and like good stuff. So that's basically your bus and your train. And the tube is a little more expensive. So you have to think about whether you want to use that particularly or not because it is a couple of pounds more. But sometimes places are so far and the quickest way to get there is with the tube. So then, you just have to do what you have to do. You have to take it in that case. I would say the way in India we use Uber and Ola and stuff, you can't really do that in London because it's quite expensive. I pretty much, I took an Uber maybe once or twice that at night if we're coming from some nightclub, or we've gone, like one time we had a boat party in our freshers week, and then from there, it was quite late, so I thought, okay, I'll take an Uber back. But generally speaking, I have not taken an Uber, and please, the black cabs in London are like extremely expensive. So unless like some emergency is there, I would suggest you avoid that. The tube and the bus are great. You're going to be fine in those. So that's your transport. Aside from that, of course, you're going to have miscellaneous expenses like entertainment. You want to go for a movie with your friends. You want to eat out with your friends. Remember that your family is not with you. So when you want to spend time with people, either they'll come to your house or your room, or you will go to theirs, which invariably means there will be some expenses, like either the food or like if you're meeting them, some travel costs, etc. Now over here, I want to say I saved a lot of money because I don't drink, and that really, really helped me. Aside from the health benefits, I seriously believe that drinking is just not useful. I'm obviously not here to give you like a moral lecture about it, but I feel if you can avoid it, seriously, it's a cost that can be avoided. Like, it'll save your health, it'll save your time, it'll keep your wallet safe. Avoid alcohol. I would always have juice. So wherever I went, and especially in London, because mostly everyone's drinking beer or like alcohol, there's very common and very normal, but I don't, I lived and grew up in a yoga institution. I don't agree with it. I have tasted it when I was in college, but I just don't agree with it fundamentally. So I found that juice and other options are available to me and I can have that. So 10 on 10 would recommend going with an alternative, which is cheaper and healthier. And aside from that, you're, going to have grocery costs, right? Like milk, banana, cereal. What else? I'm trying to remember what else I would be getting. Oh yeah, like just spreads, eggs, all those kind of like daily essentials. Then some toiletries like shampoo, soap, all of those things that you basically need at home. And you also want to have a little more to just suppose some emergency comes up, you should have some pounds with you to be able to like feel safe. So I would say in a month, now I'm guessing, right? Because I don't fully remember, but I think I spent £100, maybe a little more sometimes than that a month. But again, on your student visa, you can work for up to 20 hours. And I took that very seriously and I did internships throughout up to 20 hours. So I'd make sure that for a while I worked with a women's fitness company as their team assistant. Another time I worked at a startup as business development intern. Another time I was basically doing like copywriting. I also worked at King's as a yoga instructor as well as their ambassador. Like I used to have to write emails to college students and things like that, which I got paid for because it was the work that I was doing. So there's multiple different ways in which you can earn an income and support yourself. As a result, I did not have to keep asking my parents for money, right? I could handle a lot of things myself. Sometimes, of course, being straight out of college, I did need their help. I did have to ask them, but you can do a lot of it yourself and it is possible. So I wanted to just add that in. Also, I would say that if you are, try not to maybe like, here's just a suggestion from my side. Maybe you don't have to always go crazy shopping and getting a lot of things, especially if you're on a tight budget. Like just stick to your basic essentials. There'll be other times to shop. There'll be other times to like, go crazy with your money. But right now, when you're a student, stay lean, stay agile, do the most that you can and invest in experiences and learning opportunities more than products right now, right? Because you're not on a shopping trip. You're studying abroad to study, gain experience and use that for your job or your startup or your business, right? So acquire skills, gain all the experience that you can, do the most that you possibly can, and just keep your budget friendly. Like you shouldn't feel like I can't enjoy myself at all, but keep it sane. Keep it something that is workable, right? Something that even you feel positive about. And aisa na lage ki aare main paisa uda ke aa gayi type of a feeling, because that's not why we're going to study abroad. I have to say, there's a lot of people I knew that went and that's all they did. But I don't know what they gained out of that, right? Because see, when you go abroad, The main thing is who you become after that and how it impacts you as a person. Who I became in that 1 year still till date plays a big role in my work, in my business, in everything I do at Yogic Gurukul. And I would not change that for anything. So the person you become, the skills you gain, the teachings you acquire, that's where the real magic is at. So don't let that get compromised in any way, and use your finances in the best way possible to make a complete experience out of it. So that's all I would say. Remember, fixed costs, variable costs, keep some variable costs low, and tuition, accommodation, transport, food, groceries, entertainment. These would be the 5 or 6 categories that it would fall under. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. I really love reading all your DMs and messages to me. Thank you so, so much for taking the time out to write to me. It's just so beautiful. I know sometimes I can't reply to all of you individually and personally, but I would be happy to, have you as part of our community. We keep on adding people to different London-based WhatsApp groups where only I post as the admin, so there's no spam. And sometimes we do Zoom webinars where I can just talk to you collectively and share insights and tips, because individually is difficult, but I can obviously address a group much more easily. So I hope this has been helpful. Please don't forget to check out our other videos on the Good Enough College and also the JN Tata Scholarship and my experiences studying abroad. Also, don't forget to check out our other YouTube channel where I actually, professionally teach and do yoga and dance as well. I'll see you in the next one. Take care until then. And I can't wait to see you super soon. See you.